You tried your best, but you still got cucked. Welcome to the club, okay? Make sure to smash. And ladies and gentlemen, today we got a crazy one.
Gaming is massive.
Gaming is massive.
Every day, millions
You really
boot up
did
their
PewDiePie
PCs,
like that, bro.
consoles, even phones, and go online. It's an industry that's tripled in just under a couple of decades, and is now actually expected to become the top entertainment industry by the end of the year. Stocks are up, cash is in, and the future looks bright.
I don't think it does, honestly. Like, it's bad.
The surface of this enormous growth is something sinister.
Yep, it is bad.
Unspeakable actions. Horrors only the most depraved could fathom.
Oh no.
$7 digital fridges.
$7?
Diamond for a game that's single player. And is my game supposed to look like that? That man's head is spinning around. That's a gun pointing the wrong way. Is that an advert? In a game I paid 60 quid for? Why is my screen slowly dying? This game has 5 game modes. The last one had 9. Is that how physics works? Every unlock is through a loot crate system. Did I buy the same game I saw at E3? The graphics are actually worse than the last game. And the
Dude, how? Why?
And overly monetized games aren't anomalies either. In fact, if anything, the last few years have actually seen more companies jump on board. The process goes a bit like this. You start by licensing a game. This can be a standalone release, or a completely new franchise. But preferably, it's a sequel in an already well-known franchise with a pre-established fanbase. Once you've worked out the details, it's time to share your grand vision to the development team, and then give them an impossible time frame to make it. Once you're around a year or 2 into development, it's time for the big reveal.
Everybody clap it up, yeah!
Push the pre-order bonuses and limited editions. At this point, you can sit back and relax. The game doesn't have to actually be what was shown at E3.
True. That's the sad story.
It doesn't even have to function on launch day.
Dude, I swear to God, only the gaming industry is all about unfinished games, okay? If imagine going out, buying a car and it doesn't work and the car dealer looks at you and be like, you know what, in 2 months from now, we're gonna patch this thing and then it's gonna work. I mean, okay?
You can finish the game later on down the line. If you've played your cards extra well, your game is digital only, and your customer service team rejects every refund request that comes their way.
True.
Throw in some loot boxes and cosmetics,
Classics.
Package some extra maps for the same price as the original game, and you're done. Now, some people aren't very happy about this, and in turn, point to
some people, you said? A lot of people are not happy.
That's Electronic Arts. EA has been seen as the sort of pioneer of these practices for over a decade now, constantly pushing the envelope as to what they can monetize, and gaining such a reputation from it that its very logo on the front cover of a game.
Dude, Battlefield 4, I know that game launched broken, but now it's a masterpiece. Sadly, like, I should not say sadly, but the reason I said sadly is because I'm thinking about Battlefield 2042, that game came out in 2013. Battlefield 2042 came out like just a couple of months ago, and I mean damn, bro.
Is damn, bro. Immediate red flag. Articles and posts calling them out clog various subreddits. Countless development teams have been purchased, milked, and then shut down by them, and they've been voted most hated company in America.
Damn,
twice
that
in a
is
row.
crazy.
The situation isn't good, but believe it or not, there was a time when EA wasn't universally despised. EA became what it is today.
No way this is real. No way. No way. Heaven, EA Electronic Arts is anti. Is this real? I'm pretty sure they photoshopped this. There is no way this is real. But I would not be surprised, because right now I'm thinking about like Activision, and yup, the Activision workers actually marched around. They actually went out. They protested. So I'm thinking about that. So this could be real as well. But damn.
Despised. EA became what it is today gradually. And it all started in the mid-90s.
Oof, mid-90s? Okay, let's get it. Early
80s.
Good evening.
Arcade gaming is big, the biggest it's ever been, and the PC market is beginning to grow as well. In 1982, ex-Apple employee William Hawkins decides he wants a piece, and establishes a game publishing company called Amazing Software, then later changes the name to Electronic Arts. The founding philosophy of the company is simple: treat software like art, and the developers like artists. In the early years, EA stick to that, even going as far as crediting the game designers and programmers on the front covers of their games. They make a nice return on investment over the next few years, funding talented developers who produce games like Wasteland, the game that would be the precursor to Fallout. However, some developers eventually start failing to meet deadlines. That, and the end products begin to stray from what was agreed on. So EA then begins experimenting with in-house development. EA Sports is established in 1991, and they begin
1991 for real? That is crazy. I wasn't even born. Damn.
buying up exclusive licenses to various sports leagues. They slap some famous people on the front cover and start pumping out yearly releases with very few changes.
Bro, that's when they were really ahead, right?
Down as CEO, and instead sets his eyes on console development. He goes on to create 3DO, specifications for the most powerful console in gaming history.
Oh my god, I'm shaking. I'm shaking.
Hawkins also blows a significant portion of his money on private jets and tax issues. Anyway, another man takes the mantle, and he has a new philosophy. It's now the mid-90s, and EA is still pumping out annual sports games.
Who's that? I swear to God, every time I see that big guy, I feel like that it's Boogie 298, but it's not, right?
Started buying up promising game developers. A lot of them. From 1992 to 1998, they purchased Westwood Studios, the minds behind the Command & Conquer series, Maxis Studios, the people behind The Sims, and Bullfrog and Origin, two other talented developers at the time. Most of these studios are shut down by 2005. EA also signed a deal with the NFL for exclusive rights to play
talented developers,
killing off all current competition. This is when EA start to get a bit of a reputation. But this would be but a small taste of things to come.
Bro, I swear to God, gaming is...
It's now 2007, and EA has a new CEO appointed. The company also looks to be making somewhat of a turnaround in branding, and produces multiple promising IPs, including Mass Effect and Dead Space. These weren't just being churned out.
Bro, 2007, 8, and I would say like the 2010 era was probably the golden era. We had the Sony Pony 3, we also had the Xbox One VCR, and that was, in my honest opinion, man, if you played on those consoles, you probably witnessed the peak gaming era. If you think gaming is bad or good right now, my guy, you missed the golden era. Golden is was PS3 and
year
360.
after year either. They also buy both BioWare and Pandemic. Pandemic being the developer behind Star Wars Battlefront.
What a name, Pandemic, lol.
It's now also a decade into EA's annual release of FIFA, and it's around this time that somebody has an extraordinary idea. A system where players create their very own team. People would acquire players for their team by opening randomized packs, using the credits they earned in-game.
So
Ultimate
this is
Team
where
first
it
appeared
started?
in a spin-off to FIFA in 2007, but would later make its way into FIFA 9. But this time there was a twist. You could pay for packs with your mum's credit card. The idea was revolutionary.
Oh my
Packs begin to
god,
appear
bro.
in games like Mass Effect and Battlefield.
Bro, like this is where the microtransaction era started, and it was like $2.99. I believe Call of Duty Black Ops 2 did it as well. With $2.99 we had like a radical, I know it sounds bad, okay, but it also had calling cards. I know it still sounds bad, but it also had SMG, like a DLC weapon. They were doing like small packs like that, and nowadays it costs $20 for one skin that's not even worth it.
Games. The pay-to-win loot box was born.
Damn. Crazy, bro. Crazy. Modern EA. Okay, let's see the modern EA right now.
So it's 2013, and EA have a little bit of a problem. Not only are they now hated by almost everyone, but they're bringing in billions of dollars a year.
Damn.
And still, man,
can a brother get like 1 million?
It has to change. The CEO was immediately exiled. The man who would replace him is Andrew Wilson, former FIFA producer, and also that man who greenlit FIFA Ultimate Team a few years ago. Also, the CEO that replaces Hawkins in 1991 is made executive chairman. By this point, it's clear which direction the company is headed. And it works wonders for them. This is a graph of EA's profits before and after Wilson becomes
Damn, yo, Andrew really saved the company.
Year rights to make Star Wars games, and DICE get to work on rebooting the Star.
Dude, say whatever, but Andrew definitely saved the money, because at the end of the day, their goal, what is their goal, right? It is to make profits, right? So at the end of the day, he saved their company, man.
Star Wars Battlefront series that EA
yeah,
killed
at what
off a few years
cost?
prior.
Microtransactions, but he saved
Trailers
it.
drop, and it's official. A new Star Wars game is coming, November the 17th, 2015.
I don't remember how Star Wars was treated. Was it treated bad in the beginning? I know people love this game.
When it comes to the actual game, there are issues. The
Yeah,
game was
I mean,
called Star Wars Battlefront,
classic.
so people expected an experience similar to the first two games. This was not that. For starters, there wasn't a campaign,
Impossible.
space battles were gone, and there was just way less content than the last one, and that was a game that came out in 2005.
Damn.
On top of that,
2005?
there was almost
You cannot give us that many content in 2013, 2015. 10 years later, you couldn't give us that much content?
itself. Okay,
Bro.
so the game's not amazing, but it didn't matter. BioWare was coming back, and their next masterpiece, Mass Effect Andromeda, was just around the corner.
Okay, I'm not sure
It's
about
finally
this one, though.
2017, and BioWare, the masters of storytelling, are back. A new Mass Effect game.
I smell another disaster.
$40 million spent, 5 years in the making. It was going to be incredible.
Oh,
when
no.
we create something, we put it out.
Yeah,
it is like,
I feel a
putting
massive
your own
disaster
child
coming.
out there, right?
I'm not sure about this game.
That feeling still exists.
Oh, yeah? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Damn, son. Damn, man. Yeah, homie is showing us high dopamine gameplay right now, though. Oof. Wow. Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes, here he comes.
The game was terrible. While the game's script was tight,
My
Classic.
face is tired.
the animations just weren't quite there. They later patched it to make her face less tired. There were also quite a few bugs. The faces were a bit off, voice acting wasn't great,
To whom?
Dude, my guy's looking like he got hit by a stun grenade, though.
Goddamn father.
terrible AI, and the main character looked like she injected half a pound of heroin before every cutscene. The facial animations were so bad that BioWare spent 4 months patching them.
In fact, like, I saw the tweet with my own eyes. One of the Battlefield dev, or someone that works on Battlefield 2042, actually said that they're gonna be patching the animations and they're gonna be making it better for Battlefield 2042. I mean, it's good that they're gonna do it. Like, I'm not saying that, yeah, don't work on your game after launch. It's good that they're doing it, and it's actually a good thing that devs can support their game post-launch. But what the flip, bro? Like, can we not get a good game at launch? Is that too hard? Like, damn, son. Like, damn,
Besides
bro.
the blinding technical,
What happened to finished games at launch?
and the only thing holding the game up was its alright gameplay. It didn't take long for BioWare to jump ship. Alright,
Obviously,
Andromeda's a
classic.
write-off, but it's okay. EA have another shot with Star Wars Battlefront 2, coming out at the end of the year.
End of the year?
Battlefront 2
Alright.
was going to be the definitive Star Wars game. EA
I think this was received well, if I'm not mistaken.
and we're going above and beyond the Call
I
of
don't
Duty
know.
to deliver with this one. Classes were back, a campaign, space battles, 3 generations,
Yeah?
and best of all, there was no season pass. Was
I
this
think it was
finally the
received
classic Battlefront experience? Launch day finally arrives, and millions of players log in and start playing. EA executives are gathered round, clutching their chairs and sweating profusely. But then something extraordinary happens.
I think it
People
was...
like the game. Have they
Yeah,
done it?
dude. The reason I was sus before when he was talking about Star Wars is because, like, I knew that there was one Star Wars that was actually received well, but part of me feels like that he's gonna come out and be like, well, it was not, it was considered bad. I feel like he's gonna hit us with a plot twist.
Your issues? The executives breathe a sigh of relief. But just as Andrew goes to take a beer from the mini fridge, something
There it
happens.
Okay.
Articles appear. Message boards light up. My god, it's Reddit. It turned out that
well,
after playing a
there we
few
go.
games, people started to realise something. They couldn't play as Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker.
Damn.
Together, they were locked behind a 120,000 credit paywall. That sounded like a lot of credits, so someone on Reddit began the equations. A match
And I actually congratulated them for no reason whatsoever. Damn, bro.
takes around 11 minutes.
I take that
You
back.
earn around
I take that back.
275 credits per match. That's 25 credits per minute. That's about 2,400 minutes per unlock, and my god. It worked out that a total of 80 hours of gameplay was necessary to unlock the 2. Or you could just,
Pay
they
money.
weren't the only things that
Money.
were borderline locked behind a paywall either. The entire progression system was too. EA had essentially ham-fisted the pack system of FIFA into a Star Wars Battlefront game. Now at this point, a few other shooters had also developed loot box systems. There was just one difference. They were for cosmetics. This meant the game was pay to win. People went crazy.
Dude,
It wasn't long
this is
before
when the
EA's
era
PR
started.
team were deployed on Reddit, but this only stoked the fires further. By this point, even mainstream media outlets were reporting it. It was over. EA had lost. They announced a
Damn.
revamping of the progression system and got to work.
This is
We're not
where
done
that
yet,
era
though.
started,
It turns
bro.
out that it wasn't just gamers and the media that enraged, but governments around the globe too. Discussion started. Politicians helped me.
Oh, I remember. I actually covered all of this news. Damn, bro. Yeah, man. The government got their songs involved. Everybody started talking about it, and they made it. And right now, I feel like that loot box is garnered such a bad PR, and I'm actually really glad because it's considered like gambling mechanics. Youngya made like billions and billions of videos on that, rightfully, and I'm actually glad he did, and I'm actually glad everybody made videos on it because government got involved, and right now something is getting done about
meetings.
it.
And eventually, the verdict was in. Guilty. EA had enabled child gambling on their online Star Wars video game.
Yep, that's the
The
one.
UK undergoes talks about loot box regulation. American senators propose a bill that would regulate loot boxes. Belgium outright bans them. EA would later come out and claim that loot boxes were fun, and just like
Yeah.
opening a Kinder Egg. Okay?
It is a surprise mechanics. You know that lady from EA, like the PR lady or some bullshiza like that. Listen, man, allegedly, I'm not sure. I'm not looking to get sued. But yeah, man, they actually
Battlefront
pulled
2,
that excuse.
Also not too great, but it was alright. DICE had another shot with Battlefield 5, coming out late next year. Battlefield 1 was very well received, so people were excited to see what DICE had in store a couple of years
Yeah,
later.
Battlefield 1 was a masterpiece.
That was until the
Still
trailer
is.
dropped. The game seemed to take place in World War II, but something in the trailer caught people's eye. There was a woman. A woman with a massive claw arm.
Yeah,
Also,
oh no.
lots of face paint and a katana.
Oof.
People were furious. Countless
Oh,
Reddit
hell
threads,
yeah, people were
tweets,
really
and comments
furious.
questioning these design decisions appear instantly, and EA have to respond again. But this time, they weren't going to sit back and take it.
Yo, how can they F up this bad so many times consistently? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
EA's chief design officer Patrick Sutherland steps out and calls the fans behind the backlash uneducated. He also
Yeah,
tells them
yep.
that if it's such a big problem, just don't buy
buy
the
it.
game.
Yeah.
Battlefield 5 sales were down by more than half.
Lol,
Sutherland would
dude.
leave EA later that year. Aside from that, the game had many missing features at launch. It was also not much of a step forward from Battlefield 1. Okay, we have one more shot at this. Anthem,
Battlefield.
a game
Oh, yeah,
BioWare
Anthem,
has been
Anthem,
working
Anthem.
on for 7 years. And this time, it's
Bro, 7 years. My god, 7 years.
BioWare's A-team calling the shots. It's a whole new franchise, handcrafted from the ground up. This is the one,
Handcrafted.
fellas.
I don't think it
Before we
was
get
the
into
one,
Anthem's
man.
reception, I think it's important we talk a little bit about the game's development.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
In 2012, EA gave BioWare the go-ahead to create a new IP. They then gave them 7 years to produce a finished product. BioWare spends a lot of that time on pre-production. A lot of that time. Like 5.5 years. Pre-production basically consists of massive back and forths in meetings that ultimately resolve nothing and get the team nowhere. Time starts to pass and eventually they realise they only have 16 months to actually develop the game. The game was released in February 2019, so that means
Dude, it's been like 3 years already? That is crazy. Time's flying, and maybe one of you is watching this video in 2077 and 50 plus years have passed. That is crazy.
development must have started around July
That is
2017.
crazy.
Wait a minute, that's after they revealed the game. So all of this? Yeah, they didn't actually have a game at this point. We were finding out what the game was going to be at the same time as the developers. So 16 months to develop a AAA game. That's a heavy time crunch. And on top of that, Anthem's being built on Frostbite, the same engine fueling DICE's games for the last decade. This is a powerful engine, but it's difficult to use, and not really meant for the kind of game that BioWare are making. This means that they have to create a lot of systems from the ground up, which takes up a lot of development time. There were also things that just wouldn't work. For example,
Yeah.
BioWare wanted massive creatures in the game, but Frostbite struggled to handle it. The idea was just scrapped. So, a lot of the stuff they'd spent 5 years planning couldn't even be coded into the game. Okay, a lot of
Dang.
pressure now. And EA decide to start taking engineers from BioWare to help on other games. The developers start to realise that the game they wanted to make cannot be created in the current time frame. so they cut back on scope. At the start of development, they wanted to have multiple cities. Couldn't do that, so they then went for a city and a player-created outpost.
And they really wanted to develop this game for like PS4 and Xbox One, right? Like, damn, bro, it's just impossible.
Couldn't do that. One city and a mobile
It's
ship.
possible, but
Nope. They ended up.
you gotta spend money, and they don't want to.
BioWare's management issue an official mandate to staff. The game was to be unmemeable, unlike a certain other game.
Oh, hey, whoa, that's haram, bro.
So they spent a lot more money
Damn.
on motion capture, really advanced motion capture, and they only had one shot at it because of the high cost. They ended up changing a few of the missions later down the line, only to realise that they had no time or money to recapture the audio and footage. This results in dialogue that doesn't really make any sense. The team also doesn't really know what's working and what isn't, because they were rarely able to actually playtest the game. This is because BioWare had server problems that prevented them from logging on. They're essentially
And they still went ahead and they released the game. Classic.
making the game blind. Now, the majority of this is actually the fault of BioWare's upper management and not EA, so even in the game's current condition, EA aren't going to budge on the release date.
I blame you.
They're all they possibly can in the few short months left, and on the 22nd of February, Anthem launches.
Yeah, they still released it.
Turns
They were
out
like,
it's
F
even
that,
worse than
bro.
Andromeda.
F that.
One of the biggest
Dude,
problems.
okay, so it ended up receiving like 4.0 at launch. My guy, listen, man. Right now, 4.0 out of 10 is not considered that bad because games that comes out now, they usually receive. I believe GTA Trilogy was 1.6. It might be actually higher right now or lower. I'm not sure, but that's the memory I have. Games are receiving 0.9, so 4.0 is not bad.
This is on
man. Not
PS4.
bad.
Playing Anthem sometimes causes
Standards are going down right now, you know.
shut down. Then there's the loading screens. In some cases, they take longer than actual missions. And as we've come to expect by now, the game is also very buggy. Besides that, the game also lacks content. It's a looter shooter, but the loot's a bit broken. The story's half-assed, and 2/3 of the endgame are recycled from previous levels.
Dude, the homie Young, yeah, like, yeah, I basically know about all of these games. I never played them. The reason I know about them is because of the homie Young, yeah. He was making videos, and this is how I'm aware of the entire situation. And I also covered some of the news on my channel as well.
Some
so,
players
you know.
also noticed that the game they received was a bit different to what EA advertised a few years ago. Once again, that's because development hadn't even started at that point. Nonetheless, the game goes on to be
My guy, actually, you kidding me? This is what Cyberpunk pulled. This is exactly what they did. They came out with the E3 demo, and it was actually fake. It was a fake demo, and they did the same. But this time, they actually released the game. They released that demo at E3, but the game wasn't even in development. Bro, that is
selling game in 2019. The main caveat was that the people that did buy it were not big fans. As a result, it lost a significant portion of its player base in the first couple of months. BioWare is currently planning to rebuild the game from the ground up. But nonetheless, EA march on, unfolded by the masses of hate they receive on a daily basis, and what seems like a never-ending mission to bankrupt every studio under them. And although EA has made a few reparations, and the hate train has died down as a result, it's only a matter of time until the conductor steps back on board, and those wheels start spinning again.
Uh-oh. But click on this video on the screen and I'll see you right there. This was a really good video.